What's up, everybody? Today we're going to improve your Facebook ads with 4 simple questions. How's it going? We're back again. As many of you know, we have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the variable is that matters most on Facebook. We're always trying to look for ways to get an edge, informational advantage, given how many different accounts that we get to manage and how much different spend we get to use or to go through on the platform. But one of the things that we found, and where we're continually leaning more and more into, is that the biggest variable in outcomes on the platform is creative. We have this thing that I'll say a lot of times in my BD meetings, that if you gave every agency out there the same piece of creative and said, go generate me the best possible results, you would get a pretty small margin of outcomes given people just working off of different audiences and targeting. And the reason for that is because Facebook has done such a great job of building incredibly powerful audience targeting tools like lookalike audiences. So the reality is, the likelihood is that if you take that piece of creative and you serve it to your 1% lookalike off of a recent large set of purchasers, that's going to be the most powerful audience. So the likelihood that someone's going to go unearth or discover some specific hidden audience that's going to be better for that piece of creative than what Facebook already has created is highly unlikely. So more and more we're believing that creative is the variable that generates the wildest outcomes and the highest ceiling outcomes for your brand on platform. And so as we think about then, we have to then start to develop tactics and ideas around what makes great creative. So what I want to give you today are 4 questions that every person designing or building a Facebook ad should be able to answer before the ad goes live. And if you just take this sort of simple set of questions, and every time you get ready to launch an ad, you sort of ask yourself these 4 questions, I guarantee you're going to get an improvement in your ad quality. So the first question I would ask is, who is this for? Right? So obviously we reach customers at very different stages in their experience and interaction with a brand, from cold prospecting to somebody who has never seen or encountered your brand, to somebody who's maybe watched a video or followed you on Facebook, to they've been to your website, all the way down to they've abandoned a cart. Each one of those customers is at a very different phase of the purchase process. And one of the mistakes I see people make a lot is that they use language in addressing cold prospecting customers as if they're speaking to people who know who they are. So they'll use copy that says things like, this specific product is back in stock. And that is what the body copy will say to a cold prospecting audience. The reality is, no one knows what that product is or cares that it was out of stock to begin with, because they have no idea who you are. So you always have to keep in mind when you're cold prospecting that you still have to do the job of introducing yourself to the customer. And so I'm going to give you some good examples of people who do this well and that answer each of these questions well in each stage. So this example that I'm going to show is from one of our clients, I Heart Dogs, who does a great job of combining their targeting around what they call double doses of enthusiasm or passion. So in other words, they're a pet brand, but they love to layer on top of that audiences that also have an additional enthusiast network or component to them. So in this case, the example is veterans who love pets. So they know very clearly in this ad, which Corey will show now, it's a little video, so we'll play it.
Hey everybody, this is Marshall. I'm one of the founders of I Heart Dogs, and we're here at the I Heart Dogs HQ. I want to show you a program that we're really excited about, and it's our Pets for Vets program. So one of our big initiatives is helping fund service dogs for vets.
But what I want you to notice is the copy there. You'll see it says that it uses the word you in the ad, so they know specifically who they're talking to, and then it talks about a company full of vets, right? So they know that this copy is going to be specifically related to the audience that they're speaking to, which is a combination of pet owners and veterans. So by having a very clear idea of who it is that they're advertising to, they can create specific content and messaging for that audience. Really well done and an effective ad. You can see the engagement on the ad unit itself. So the first question is, who is this for? Ensure you are writing copy that makes sense for the audience that you're speaking to. Second question to ask is, why will they stop? Right? We all know that somebody is scrolling through a feed endlessly, whether they're in the bathroom, whether they're laying in bed at night, whether they're bored in a meeting, they're scrolling on a feed, right? Endlessly. So the question that you have to answer is, why will they stop? And that's oftentimes that's sort of a neglected thought. We just think, oh, I'm going to make something pretty, and that's going to stop someone and break them up in their feed. Well, maybe, but I think the question you should ask is why? Why are they going to stop? And you have to have a reason that you believe that they will. Two of my favorite reasons that I believe in are, one, because you tell them to. This is, I think, an underrated aspect of marketing, is being clearly direct about what you want the user to do. And so sometimes I think some of the most effective copy and language that you can do in an ad is when you say things like, see what happens, or you say, watch this, or just simple phrases that ask the user to stop and engage with your content. A lot of times people want to just start speaking at people about features of the product, and they don't think about how they actually use the language or the copy or the headline to stop people and ask them to engage with the content. That's why this clickbaity stuff that says like, watch till the end, or turn sound on and wait till the last second, or you won't believe what happens at the end. Like, that copy is really effective because what you're doing is you're asking the person to come and engage with your ad all the way through the content. So think about that, just using language that tells the user to stop and to read and engage with you. I think you'll find it to be effective. So the second reason, and I'll give you a great example of that. This is an ad from one of our clients, Axe, where the copy that you'll see here is, it says, see what happens when we give George Springer, World Series MVP, one of our bats. So that idea, again, see what happens, is a really compelling way to get someone to stop and watch the content. Postmates, little drop in. We have a really excessive Postmates budget here in this office. But so this example, again, George Springer, you're using language in this ad that says, see what happens when. And the video watch length in this is fantastic. We get great engagement on this asset as well. The next reason that I'll give you is a compelling visual thumbnail. So again, if you're using video content, it's a thumbnail. If not, it's a graphical image that stands out in the feed. That can be done through color, that can be done through something interesting. And one of the things that's really, if you go into your Instagram popular feed, and you go through the popular feed on that Instagram page, and what you'll see, I guarantee you, is a tactic that's used a lot by media outlets, which is these thumbnails that actually don't have anything to do with the video content. So sometimes they're provocative, sometimes they're just really outlandish or weird, but they're all used to get you to stop and watch the content because they know that that initial visual is what you're going to initially interact with your feed. So this ad right here is from one of our clients, Theragun, and the thumbnail is incredibly powerful. It's a man with making a giant O face because he's about to experience the Theragun. And again, this is one of our most powerful ads because it stops people because his face is telling you that something interesting is happening. So really important. So question number 2, why will they stop? Question number 3 is, why will they click? Right? So now you've stopped them. Well, the next action that you want them to take is to click on the ad. So the question now is, why will they click? What's going to make them and move them towards the actual purchase decision? So as you're going through this diagram, you've written who your ad's for, you know why they're going to stop. Now the next question is, why are they going to click? And you should have an answer for this. I'll give you 2 of the answers that I think are really effective. One is a compelling offer. So this is an ad right now for one of our clients, Diff, who has a 50% off sale going for a limited time. They're going to get clicks on this ad. They use price as the mechanism. So if they were filling out the diagram and they said, why would somebody click? The answer would be really compelling offer, right? And so you can see this ad here, pretty straightforward, one of the tactics that can be effective. But if you don't have price, then the next question you have to ask is, again, why are they going to click? So one of the other reasons I'll give you, and this is from one of our own brands right here, called FC Goods, where we're using scarcity as a tactic to drive clicks. So we're talking about a limited edition collection that's going to disappear quickly to create the imperatives for someone to act now. So this idea of not just why will they click, but why will they click right now is an important question to ask yourself. So figuring out in the language, and again, a lot of that is just asking them to, is that you've made it clear or you've created a flow of information where the video has teased to where it's telling them that they're going to learn more or shop now makes a lot of sense. So that's the third question. And then the last thing is, why will they buy? So ultimately that's the objective. So who is it for? why will they stop, why will they click, and then ultimately, why will they buy? One of the things that we talk about a lot in our creative planning is, where does the sale happen? So if you're going to use a clickbaity, intriguing ad like that George Springer one I showed you, where it's just him hitting a bat, well, you better then drive them to a page that informs them about the details of the product. You have to actually do work around selling the product. So in that case, the answer of why will they buy, it's because we've given them social validation through an influencer and then educated them on the product on the PDP page. So in that case, it's about the education that's going to happen on the landing page paired with their validation of the influencer. That's why I would write, why will they buy here? Another great reason is because we've made it super simple to. In these cases, when you do the opposite, when you've gone long form content at the top where you're really educating around the features and benefits of the product, then driving them to a really frictionless PDP where they can make a purchase really simply, add it to cart and be done, is really critical. So like in this example I'll show you, this is a Kalo ad that shows you the customization of the ring. So this is a great 60-second, really highly produced video. We'll show a little snippet of it here. So we have educated the customer around that content. We have shown them the visuals, all the benefits, what they can do, and we're gonna drop them straight to a super simple PDP where they can fill out and now engage in creating what they just saw. So that experience of going, why are they going to buy? Well, because the answer is because we've given them the ability to create what they just saw in the ad, and their click demonstrated that they are compelled by that opportunity. And so just being able to answer that question. And the thing I wouldn't be afraid of is that your answer might be wrong. It doesn't, but that's not really the point. The point is to have a reason to believe in what you're doing. What I tell people all the time is I'm less concerned about them being right and more concerned about them having a belief in what they're doing. So taking those 4 questions and asking yourself, who is it for? Why will they stop? Why will they click? And why will they buy? I guarantee if you just hold up some of your ads and try and answer that question, you're gonna find that a lot of times you're designing things that you like or that look good without having a real reason to believe that they will convert the objective that you're after. So take those 4 questions, go practice it, grab a designer on your team right now and go through 4 of them and see what their answers are. And hopefully it'll help to shape your customer experience and your advertising just a little bit to improve your work on platform. So enjoy those 4 questions. Appreciate you all. Talk soon.